Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I am Nabella. On behalf of the entire campus community, welcome to Penang Anto University Science Malaysia. USM is also known as University in the Garden, with its beautiful and scenic campus setting. We take pride in creating an environment that would bring about the feel-good factor to the campus community as indicated by the increased happiness index. Established in 1969, USM became a research university in 2006-2007 and has been awarded the APEX status in 2008. USM is also recognized by UNESCO as the preferred university for community engagement. USM views the harmonious integration between the arts and the sciences as an innate strength. This is what we have for you in store this afternoon. Thank you. Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I am Nabella. On behalf of the entire campus community, welcome to Penang Anto University Science Malaysia. USM is also known as University in the Garden, with its beautiful and scenic campus setting. We take pride in creating an environment that would bring about the feel-good factor to the campus community as indicated by the increased happiness index. Established in 1969, USM became a research university in 2006-2007 and has been awarded the APEX status in 2008. USM is also recognized by UNESCO as the preferred university for community engagement. USM views the harmonious integration between the arts and the sciences as an innate strength. This is what we have for you in store this afternoon. Thank you.
The 2021 3MT winner in the category of Social Sciences. I'm an English lecturer here at UM and a PhD student in the area of Literature and New Media Studies in our darling university, USM. 3MT is such an incredible experience for me and I cannot forget that. So here is one useful tip from me. Memorize your text beforehand. When you understand every word you say, your confidence, your body movement, your hand gestures, your facial expression, eye contact will project during the delivery. So cheer up and blow them away with your astounding research and good luck!
Assalamualaikum. Hi, my name is Rushida binti Harun, PhD student in molecular medicine from Institute for Research in Molecular Medicine. Alhamdulillah, I won the first place in the Science and Technology category and also the People's Choice Award in last year's USM Minute Thesis competition. I would like to congratulate all of you for your courage, effort, and enthusiasm for this year's USM Minute Thesis competition. All the best and let's make USM proud.
To all 3MT participants this year, I'm looking forward to your incredible research. Just remember to relax and try not to use too many technical jargons. I wish you the best of luck.
Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. Welcome to USM Virtual 3-Minute Thesis Competitions 2022. I'm Ana Masara binti Ahmad Mota from the School of Industrial Technology, and together with me today we have Muazzah Ismail from Center for Instructional Technology and Multimedia USM. Both of us will be the MCs for today's competitions. So Azah, as far as I know, today will be your first time emceeing for 3-Minute Thesis competition, right? So how do you feel today?
Oh, Anna, to be honest, this is the first time I have involved with 3-minute competition. I'm quite nervous today, but I can't wait to hear all the presenters from excellent USM students from all around the world. And as far as I know, USM has made it through as one Malaysia's representatives last year to compete at the international level in Australia. Well done, USMians. I assume some of you are familiar with this competition. Has hosted the same program
in the previous years. Yes, it's true. Just to let you know, we are now in our 7 years, and same like last year, this year 3-Minute Thesis competitions will be hosted virtually and live through 2 major social media platforms, which are the first one through IPS YouTube and the second one will be through the USM Admission Facebook. And like last year, all USM students may claim their MyCSD points for this program. We will provide the link to the Google form in the chat box at the end of these competitions. So next, without further ado, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Azlan Abdul Aziz, the Dean of the Institute of Postgraduate Studies USM, to give his welcoming remarks. Everyone, please welcome Professor Dr. Azlan.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished deans, directors, deputy deans, USM staff, supervisors, lecturers, students, and our outstanding contestant of the 3-minute thesis competition. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the University Science Malaysia 3-minute thesis competition 2022, which is an annual event organized by the Institute of Postgraduate Studies, USM, and supported by the Malaysian Council of Postgraduate Deans. Thank you for availing yourself to attend and be a part of this momentous event today via online platform. Ladies and gentlemen, the USM 3-minute thesis competition is a significant event to us as it brings together our outstanding doctoral research students across different disciplines to explain their research within 3 minutes to a general audience. The competition also celebrates the discoveries of our doctoral research students as they explore various scientific solutions to multifarious national and global problems such as climate change, food security, mental illness and corruptions, and many more. Ladies and gentlemen, to the Institute of Postgraduate Studies, the competition is most important as it promotes skill development in science communication by encouraging students to consolidate their ideas and crystallize their research discoveries to engage a non-specialist audience. The competition also provides a bridge between scientific literature as professional medium of scientific research and the realms of reality as experienced in the society. Ladies and gentlemen, so here we are for USM 3-minute thesis competition to witness our great doctoral students to share their ideas and scientific findings to solve national and global problems in 3 minutes across 3 major categories, namely science and technology, social science, and engineering. To all 3MT contestants, I would like to wish you all the best. Please make a full use of your 3 minutes and amaze us with your research ideas and solutions. May the spirit of scientific inquiries, cross-disciplinary research culture, and appreciation remain through this USM 3MT competition. Thank you.
Thank you to Professor Dr. Azlan for the encouraging speech. Well, everyone, I know all of you can't wait to cheer for your school representative, but before that, let me briefly introduce to all of you about 3-minute thesis competitions, or also known as 3MT. So 3MT is a research communication competitions founded by the University of Queensland, Australia in 2008. This program challenged all PhD students to present a compelling oration on their thesis topic and its significance in just 3 minutes. I repeat, in just 3 minutes. So although it's a short time, but for those who understand well enough about their research topic, they will be able to talk about their research in this short time. And for this year, we have 32 contenders, and all of them are PhD students from various schools in USM, like School of Social Sciences, Communication, and also Chemical Engineering. And these 32 contenders are further divided into 3 main categories, which is the first one, engineering, the second one will be social sciences, and the third one, science and technology. All contenders will be evaluated by 4 respected judges. Our first panel and also the chief jury is Professor Dr. Jamila Ahmad from the School of Communication. Then we have Dr. Hayati Samsudin from the School of Industrial Technology, Dr. Nur Azalia Kamaruzaman from National Poison Center, and lastly, Associate Professor Dr. Nur Sabahiyah Abdul Suku from the School of Civil Engineering. Okay, now I assume some of you have a brief idea about this program and also the judges. But how about the house rules?
Alright, Anna. It is the same as previous years, but since we are now conducting the competition online, some of the rules have been amended.
Okay.
For this year, the rules are: the presentation is limited only to 3 minutes maximum.
Maximum 3 minutes.
And presentations exceeding 3 minutes are
Disqualified.
yes. Secondly, the presentation is to be spoken only in words, no poems, no raps, and
No
no
song.
song. Okay. Thirdly, the 3 minutes starts as the students commences either via movement or speech. And lastly, it is the same for all competitions where the judge decision is final.
No negotiations. And we have another good news for everyone. All the audience joining us today can vote for their favorite contestant via the People's Choice Award. Yes.
Yeah.
And the selected participants will stand a chance to win this award. So this is how the voting process will be carried out. First, you can refer to the 3MT website for the list of all participants in case you are not sure about their names or even can't remember their face and their research. Second one, voting platform will be open right after the first participant start presenting their work, and it will be closed 5 minutes after the last participant and his or her presentation. Thirdly, vote can be made via the given link, either in USM Admission Facebook or IPS YouTube comment.
Chemical engineering, please welcome Amina Adedoja Awaduni with the presentation entitled Wastewater Treatment, Fecal Waste to Fertilizer. The floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum all. Good morning. My name is Amina Adedoja from School of Chemical Engineering. Today I'm presenting on fecal waste to fertilizer production. Do you enjoy eating fish? Oh yes, I do. Coming from Nigeria, Lagos State to be precise, I eat lots of fish more than meat. So my fear coming to Malaysia to study was I wouldn't be able to continue my diet. But upon coming to Malaysia and seeing the getting to market itself, I was glad to see lots of fish, and siakan became one of my favorites. So, do you know how today's fish is cultivated? Most of the fish today is cultivated to meet the supply and demand due to the population increase. Okay, so today's fish is cultivated in fish farms outside the sea itself. My first time traveling on Penang Bridge, I noticed the fish farm situated in the middle of the sea. Fascinating, right? Yes, I was fascinated as you are. Okay, so most of these fish farms generate contaminants due to the trying to increase the quality and the quantity of the fish. Feed, pesticides and other chemicals are added to this for this purpose. Okay, so these wastes are left in the water even after the fish cultivation is done. The turbidity and other problems, like eutrophication, lead to the turbidity and other problems need to be solved. Plant has been able to remove up to 90% turbidity from the wastewater. This sludge generated another problem, a problem upon problem. So what do? I also have a solution for this. My plan is to convert the nutrient-rich sludge to produce a fertilizer. In summary, my research focuses on nutrient recovery from fish farming wastewater to produce a fertilizer. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Amina. The research focuses on treating aquaculture wastewater in Malaysia, which has an economic value over USD 700 millions. Wow! The natural coagulant has been able to remove up to 90% turbidity by aggregating the flux. The sludge will be converted into soil conditioner or fertilizer for agriculture purposes. Thank you, Amina, for the enlightening talk. Good luck. Now, let's call upon Khairul Anwar bin Muhammad Noor from the School of Electrical and Electronic Engineering with his presentation entitled Active Passive Harmonic Filter in Electrical Power System. Everyone, please welcome Khairul Anwar.
Assalamualaikum. Hello everyone. Today electrical system face a rapid increase in the use of electronic devices in line with the developments of current technology. However, did you know the real lifetime of your electronic device? Did your laptop, air conditioner, or machines can be used until 10 or 20 years? This electronic device, or we call nonlinear loads, creates a problem named harmonics. Harmonic is a distortion of voltage and current due to the change in frequency within the electrical distribution system. Particularly, they are different from the usual sinusoidal voltage and current change. The main effect of harmonic distortion on power system equipment are overheating, overloading, capacitor failure, communication interference, process problem, low power factor, and reduce our electronic device lifetime. So, in my study, I found two ways in eliminate this harmonic distortion, which is active harmonic filters and passive harmonic filters. These two types of filters have their own functions. Passive filter used to mitigate single order of harmonic frequencies such as third, fifth, seventh component of fundamental frequency, while active filters is work to compensate higher order of harmonics. Another method that we can use is hybrid filter, which is combination of active and passive filters. Hybrid filter considers as cost-effective technique and can overcome the disadvantage associated with active and passive filters. As the result, the total harmonic distortion values can be mitigated until 70% when installed with the passive active harmonic filters. Better performance can be expected from the system compared to when it was operating without filter. It is important for our electrical system stability and smooth sinusoidal current and voltage source. Thus, this research is highly important since it can increase the system reliability, extend the lifelong of electrical appliances, and our devices are well protected. Thank you.
Thank you, Cairo Ainwar, for a very interesting talk. It is great to know that the research is about eliminating the effect of harmonic distortion. The outcomes from this research will improve the power stability, increase the system reliability, and extend the lifelong of the electrical appliances. I wish you all the best. Coming up next is Mir Muhammad Hafiz Shahbuddin, representing the School of Chemical Engineering with his presentation entitled Sustain and Safeguard Mother Nature from CO2 Emissions, #Act Now on Climate Change. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now in a state of climate emergency. Extreme weather, wildfire, floods, and food crisis are among the vital signs of climate change. Don't you realize that we have already witnessed or even experienced them ourselves? These are what we get as the temperature of the Earth rises by 1 degree Celsius, just one at the moment. Climate change is not a future problem, and I fear that the worst is yet to come if we do nothing. Published evidence has pointed out that the Earth's temperature is going to rise by 2 degrees Celsius in the near future. Carbon dioxide, or CO2, is a greenhouse gas that causes climate change, and its release into our atmosphere right now is beyond control. Recently, IEA reported that the amount of CO2 emitted in the atmosphere in the year 2021 has reached the highest value in history. This happens in spite of the establishment of the well-known Paris Agreement. What actually went wrong? And are we going to just sit and turn a blind eye, knowing that the Mother Nature is now being destroyed by us, by our own activities? As a part of the scientific community, it is our responsibility to come up with an effort to reduce CO2 emission, hence climate change. Of course, we have several technologies, for example, pressure swing and absorption process to capture CO2, but they only create new problems as they require much energy and so many chemicals to perform. With that, I introduces my new technology, a hollow fiber membrane, which is simpler yet effective method to capture CO2. The membrane is able to purify a targeted species. The membrane is also easily to be modified, hence I introduces Metal Organic Framework or MOF to further enhance its performance and its lifespan. The membrane worked exceptionally well at its best formulation. Based on the data available, it was proven that the membrane able to purify a feed gas stream by 40 times than its original CO2 concentration. How amazing is that? On a larger scale, I am optimistic that this technology will be very beneficial in reducing the climate change impact. To have a safe food supply, clean water sources, and breath of fresh air at a place that we call home. Who doesn't want those? But first, we must act together to safeguard and sustain the Mother Nature, and we must act now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mio, for a mind-blowing talk. It is refreshing to learn something new here. We must #act now to safeguard Mother Nature from climate change. In this research, a hollow fiber membrane embedded with metal organic frameworks was fabricated to capture CO2. It worked exceptionally well to provide uncontaminated feed stream from CO2 by using less energy and produces zero chemical waste.
Imagine you're driving down the road and an unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV or drone, is following or filming you. You want to highlight it to the authorities, right? But wait, the authorities cannot help you since they cannot detect these drones, or they cannot take any action against the owner of the drone since it cannot be detected. This is one of the several scenarios that we need to detect drone in an urban environment, as drones are increasingly being used for mobile communication, stockpile measurements, aerial photography, and target tracking. When it comes to detection, radars have long been used to detect objects using electromagnetic waves. Radars operate by emitting a wave towards the target, and from the reflections received back from the target, the radar can compute the range, velocity, height, and the orientation of the target with respect to radar receiver. However, a radar requires a clear line of sight between itself and the target to compute the parameters successfully. In case of absence of line of path, the received power is less than the threshold required to compute the parameters, and the radar may not be able to detect the object. The beam that is coming from the object towards the radar is blocked by a large building. What if somehow we could steer the beam towards the radar instead of letting it be blocked? This is where reconfigurable intelligent surfaces, or surfaces that can steer the beams from radar to the target or target to the radar, come into play. These surfaces have characteristics such as absorption, reflection, refraction, and diffraction that can be modified. By modifying its characteristics, it can steer the beam towards the radar. So this allows us to virtually establish a line of sight path between the radar and the target when actually the line of sight is completely absent. This helps us to reduce coverage gaps and detect the targets with non-line of sight between them. What is the performance of these RIS-assisted radar systems is the question that my thesis seeks to answer. In my dissertation, we are considering numerous radar configurations with different RIS placements, and then we compute the performance analytical bounds to establish the performance of these systems. If it's successful, the next time you are driving on the road, you don't have to worry about a drone filming or following you because the cities are safe now. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Salman. Such an impressive talk. Basically, the research is about target identification using Reconfigurable Intelligence Service, RIS. Assisted radar, it is a crucial field of study with applications in security and surveillance. For example, the usage of drones is becoming more prevalent. The research involves using RIS assisted radars to enhance the impaired performance of radars to detect targets in non-line of sight scenarios. So Salman, I wish you all the best in your research. Our final contestant for the engineering category is Yezar Nihui from the School of Materials and Mineral Resources Engineering. Yezar, I hope I pronounced your name right. The title of his talk is Environmental Friendly Water-Based Conductive Inks for Printed Health Monitoring Devices. Yezar, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone. My research topic is about environmental friendly water-based graphene conducting inks for printed health monitoring device. I'm like Rani. Recently I purchased a Fitbit. Have you heard about the Fitbit? Fitbit is a watch, not regular watch. It can measure your daily step, heart rate and more. Printed wearable technology has more than tripled in the last 4 years. According to the research, 80% of consumers are willing to wear printed wearable health monitoring device. Did you know that printed wearable health monitoring device contain conductive ink? So what is actually conductive ink? Conductive ink is a material that can print as a conductive trace, process and conduct electricity. That conductive trace provide path of electron from point to point, which means that conductive failure transits from insulated to conductive behavior and reach anti-percolation threshold. Various types of conductive inks are available in the market. However, the process to fabricate conductive ink is the main problem. Most of the technology nowadays use high toxic solvent in their manufacturing, such as DMF, NMP, and DMSO. Apart from that, these solvents are expensive and not good for environment, need high temperature to evaporate the solvent. Also, the protecting manufacturing workup on these solvents are very important for us the impact of human health. Example, it will damage to liver, kidney and lungs. In my opinion, if we want to make health monitoring system, it should be safe for all harm, right? The material itself need to be sustainable, environmental friendly, and it's safe for all, human and environmental as well. In my research, I developed water-based graphene conducting ink. Wait, it's not the best part yet. Water we use as a solvent. In my team and I use non-toxic additive, organic surfactant to prepare environmental friendly conducting ink. Then we print it on biodegradable substrate. So the whole ingredient of our ink are safe and good for environment. And our material has been characterized and show excellent electrical properties, good in mechanical properties, and high stability. So, apart from that, the use of water-based graphene conducting inks in last course, I'm sure it will attract attention to guide industrial interest. I think now is the time us to change environmental friendly printed health monitoring device. I strongly believe to achieve environmental sustainability, it's about making life choice that ensure the way of better life for future generation without sacrificing our environment. So let's make a change.
Thank you, Yezar, for a very intriguing thought. Such interesting research actually. It is all about the characterization of printed flexible strain sensors based on hybrid nanoparticle graphene and silver. So all the best to Yezar Nihui. Before we move on the next category, we will have the first session of Lucky Draw, Anna. For this round, we will choose winners from USM Admission Facebook Live first. I repeat, for this round, we will choose winners from USM Admission Facebook Live.
Yes.
Okay, there will be 3 winners for this session. Key in this keyword now and stand a chance to win the prize. Are you ready, guys?
Okay, everyone.
The keyword is
USM
Will It.
I repeat, USM Will It.
I heard that the lucky draw winners for this session are going to receive vouchers, Anna, from Crab. So the winner can use these vouchers for your Grab car, Grab taxi, and even Grab food.
Yes, I think there are a lot of food selections that you can order from Grab Foods, and it will be great, especially for you students, to use these vouchers to get your food. Yes, really good, right?
Yeah. And Anna, before I announce the first 3 lucky draw winners, I would like to remind the audience again about the People Choice Award. For this award, you can vote your favorite presenter. You can click the link provided on our USM Admission Facebook, IPS YouTube, and Crawler to refer all the list of all contenders.
Yes, and vote can be made via the given link in the USM Admission Facebook or IPS YouTube comment box. And participants with the highest vote will be considered as the winner. And don't forget, there will be another 2 sessions of lucky draw after this, and we will select 3 winners in the next session and another 4 in the last sessions after that. So now we're still waiting for the names, okay? It will take a while, okay? But while waiting, I think it's better for me to briefly explain again about how you can join our lucky draw session. First, stay with us and be alert. As I mentioned before, we have the keyword now, guys. USM we lead. Again, USM we lead. That will be given by us, the MCs. And once we have announced the keyword, quickly type, okay, the keyword in the comment box of our Facebook live streaming page, or USM Admission Facebook, or IPS Institute Postgraduate Studies YouTube live page. Please take note that the deadline for the winner to claim their prizes from the organizer is on 26 August 2022 only.
All right.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah, okay. We have the names.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I will announce the first lucky draw winners. Are you ready?
Yes, yes.
The first winner is Nur Jihan. The second winner is Anna Safa. And the last winner is Khoja Hafiza Ghazali.
Maybe you can repeat again the names.
Okay. Nur Jihan, Ana Safa, and Khoja Hafiza Ghazali. Congratulations to all the winners. And don't forget to redeem your prize. Kindly refer to the screen for the redemption process. Okay, let's move on to the next category, and I will pass it over to my friend Anna.
Okay, thank you, Azhar, for the great session. Now we will start the second category, which is social sciences. And for this category, we have 13 participants. So the first participant is from the School of Language, Literacies and Translation, Al-Haddad Eman Adil Jafar. She will be presenting her research entitled Investigating the Use of Pedagogical Corpus Stylistic Approach to Teach Poetic Language to EFL Learners. And without further ado, everyone, please welcome Al-Haddad Eman.
We all agree that technology has invaded our life. It has a tremendous impact on all domains, including education and foreign language teaching and learning. This is known nowadays as digital humanities. Thus, my PhD thesis has 3 objectives. Firstly, it aims at increasing EFL learners' ability to analyze poetic language using corpus linguistic tools, and secondly, encouraging discovery learning through searching items and identifying language patterns that lead to supporting the analysis with linguistic evidence, and thirdly, integrating technology into teaching and learning poetry by proposing pedagogical corpus stylistic approach. In fact, reading, learning, and teaching English language poetry is an enjoyable experience for both teachers and EFL learners. However, it can be a painstaking endeavor for many reasons. First, the cultural background about the target language that foreign learners do not know or have limited knowledge about. Moreover, poetry contains figurative devices that tend to defeat readers' interpretive expectancy that hinders straightforward understanding of poetry. For example, in a well-known poem by Dylan Thomas, A grief ago, the unlikely combination of the two words, a grief and a go, creates kind of semantic deviation that really defends readers' expectancy. It's worth mentioning that teachers and learners might be intimidated by the use of technology while studying on learning or teaching poetry due to the lack of IT skills. Thus, in this study, the study encourages them to overcome this issue by showing actual practices and promising results supported with evidence for the sake of better teaching and learning experience. Finally, pedagogical corpus stylistic approach is designed to enhance learners' autonomy. Learners can be active participants in the process instead of being only passive receivers of the knowledge. They can have their own chance to discover interesting, valuable aspects about the target language through the use of corpora under the guidance of the teacher. It is really a student-centered approach that encourages discovery learning through the rules and finding patterns through studying keywords, concordances, lines, and collocations. Thank you.
Thank you, Al-Hada Iman. I believe that through your research, we can improve the EFL learners' ability to analyze poetic language current modules and also encourage discovery learning through searching items and also identifying language patterns. Okay, now next, let's welcome Aminu Yakubu from Center for Islamic Development Management Studies to share his research on Islamic economic tool as an alternative measures for poverty alleviations. Everyone, let's welcome from Aminu.
One of the biggest issues the world is currently dealing with is the global poverty. The poorest people frequently go without affording 3 square meals or food at all per day. Some poor have fewer access to education, healthcare, and generally basic social amenities. Therefore, one of the most pressing global objectives is to reduce poverty. Poverty is defined as a state or condition in which a person or community lacks the financial resources and necessity for a basic way of life. Long-run evidence indicates that only a small elite enjoyed living conditions that will not be classified as extreme poverty today. Several poverty alleviation programs launched by both government and non-governmental organizations with the goal of combating and alleviating the ravages of poverty have been found to be ineffective due to inadequate funding, lack of proper coordination and commitments, poor design and evaluation of programs. In my study, I proposed the use of Waqf as one of the Islamic economic tools to address the situation of poverty. Waqf is an Islamic endowment property to be held in trust and used for charitable, religious, and socio-economic purpose. The intent of Islamic economic is to realize efficiency, equality in resources allocation and distribution. It acknowledges the importance of market forces and individual freedom. Therefore, Islamic economic focus on applying the Islamic value as the foundation for material, socio-economic, and spiritual development. The flexibility of Waqf as an Islamic economic tool can complement government effort to end poverty and to make significant contributions to the economy at large in the following ways: enhancing economic progress, reducing government expenditure, restoring and distribution of income, and preventing deficit financing. Waqf can play a vital role in poverty alleviation by directing its benefits to the poor, the privileges, and socio-economic development. Thank you.
Thank you, Aminu, for the interesting talk. It's good to know, though, the advantages and also the significance of using Islamic economic tools as an alternative for poverty, as we all know that the current conventional poverty alleviation program is not so cost efficient. And this effort, I believe, will later help to improve people, especially Malaysian quality of life. Next, please welcome Amos Lian Enze. I hope I pronounced your name right. Amos Lian Enze from the School of Social Sciences to present his work entitled The Different Personalities of Trauma. Amos, please, the floor is now yours.
Hi everyone, my name is Amos and I'm from the School of Social Science. Do you know that after experiencing a trauma, the human unconscious mind created different subpersonalities? I am a psychologist and one of my clients, after experiencing trauma, she has a side of her who is extremely angry. She has a side of her that is numb and detached from all her emotions. And she has a side of her that keeps on criticizing herself. She said, "It is all my fault that the trauma happens." And do you know that in trauma interventions, we can apply all these subpersonalities to achieve better effectiveness? I'm here today to discuss my PhD project. Currently, there are very limited forms of therapies available for the traumatized population in Malaysia. Most trauma therapies in Malaysia are outdated as they were from the 80s. Yet, only a small amount of research has focused on bringing new therapy into Malaysia. Schema therapy is a relatively new model which has not been developed in Malaysia. Schema therapy is very different from the existing trauma therapies. For example, the current most popular trauma therapy is CBT, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, which focuses on building your rational mind. Yet, trauma is found to be irrational. It is such an overwhelming experience that it breaks the rational mind and creates different irrational emotions. These emotions are just like the actors on the stage that have their own roles and their own personalities. In schema therapy, through working with these subpersonalities, we allow healing and the processing of trauma. To implement the schema therapy model in Malaysia, I integrated techniques that are less confrontative and less emotional than the original techniques. Techniques such as art therapy and dream analysis are suitable for Malaysians, as Malaysians are found to be more sensitive and avoidant to discuss their emotions directly. So, the new techniques allow them to discuss their emotions in a more metaphorical methods, such as through arts or through dreams. In my study, the adapted schema therapy was tested on Malaysian females who experienced trauma. We compared this new therapy with CBT, and from both our quantitative and qualitative data, we found our therapy to be significantly more helpful than CBT. We reduced more PTSD symptoms, and this effectiveness lasted longer. This research shows us that to heal trauma, we have to look into the unconscious mind and to resolve the subpersonalities and the different actors in the stage of trauma. Thank you.
Thank you, Amos, for the great talk. Yes, it's true that most trauma therapies nowadays in Malaysia and also in the world are outdated, as most of them are from the 80s. Thus, I think it is necessary to bring a new trauma-focused psychotherapy in Malaysia. So, I personally look forward to your finding, Amos. We will now proceed with Baharul Nizam bin Baharum from the School of Distance Education to share his research on understanding sustainability, a study on the knowledge, attitude and behavior towards sustainable development. Everyone, please welcome Baharul Nizam.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I was introduced to the term sustainability and sustainable development when I started my first job as a research assistant in one of the state government think tank in the year 2000. I was given a project under the United Nations entitled Local Agenda 21, an action plan for sustainable development which emphasizes on actions by the local authority. In my case, that was the Penang Municipal Council. So I had to dig deeper into what sustainability is, and I found out that the world has deteriorated massively and the United Nations has started a lot of initiative to overcome this issue. And Agenda 21 started in 1992. In the year 2000, the UN came up with the Millennium Development Goal, or MDG, a 15 years initiative to attend to the world's problem on poverty, hunger, education, gender equality, child mortality, maternal health, combating diseases, environmental sustainability, and global partnership. And 5 years after that, another initiative, but this time focusing on education, the Decade of Education for Sustainable Development, DESD. When the term ends in 2015 and 2014 respectively for DESD and MDG, in 2016, the UN came up again with a new action plan called the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG. So when I registered my PhD in the year 2022, this year, the word sustainability is still there, being discussed. Right? So I wonder, why? What happened to MDG, DESD, and Agenda 21? Did we achieve it? It has been 22 years. People should have known something about sustainability, right? Wrong. Otherwise, they don't come up with SDG. So my project will fill in this gap to understand the current status of understanding after 22 years of exposure on sustainability issues. And my approach is to dissect the understanding into the knowledge about sustainability, attitude about sustainability, and behavior towards sustainability. You need these three components: knowledge, attitude, behavior, in order for you to claim that you understand sustainability. And I do believe in science, and science is based on data. And my study will provide a huge baseline for many stakeholders, especially the government, on how we could steer our nations toward achieving SDG by the year 2030. The development of today should not compromise the ability of future generations to have their own development as well. Thank you, and see you in 2030.
Thank you, Baharul Nizam. That is a very interesting topic, and I believe through your research, we will be able to assess the existing KAP, or also known as knowledge, attitude, and practice towards sustainability. And with the result, we'll be able to support existing initiatives toward achieving SDG, especially for the benefits of Malaysia. We will continue with the fifth speaker, Fauzia binti Mat Aris, also from the School of Distance Education. She will share a quite interesting topic about development and evaluations of effectiveness of TikTok-based learning for freelancers in Malaysia. Everyone, let's welcome Fauzia to the floor.
TikTok-based learning for freelancers in Malaysia. Hi, I'm Tikesh in the house. Do you have a TikTok account? If you don't, go and register one. You know why? Because not only you can watch and produce your own TikTok videos, but you can also sell your products and services. For educators and researchers, I would like to encourage you to start teaching and sharing your knowledge on TikTok. You know why? Because right now TikTok is the #1 and the largest learning platform in the world. Yes, it has more than 1 billion active users worldwide, and 15 million is from Malaysia. Malaysia spend 3 hours a day on social media, including TikTok, and 20 hours a month on TikTok alone. Crazy, right? Yes. So, do you think we can deliver learning on TikTok, especially for freelancers in Malaysia? Okay, let me share you a story about my TikTok account. 3 months ago, I registered a TikTok account and start producing short videos. Basically, I want to share my knowledge, my skill and experience on creativity, lifelong learning and freelancing. I use this hashtag freelancing with Auntie Cash. Guess what? I already received more than 5,000 views. Yes, that's a lot. Okay, right now go to TikTok apps, type hashtag freelancer. I can guarantee you, you will see that it already has more than 600 million views. Ooh, 600 is million. A lot, right? Okay, so what about my PhD research? Alright, the aims of my PhD research is to develop a framework for TikTok-based learning for freelancers in Malaysia. I will use DDR method, Design Development Research Method. First, I need to do an analysis to analyze the background, the needs, and the persona of my learners. And then after that, I will design and develop the learning based on the analysis report. Lastly, of course, I need to implement. And finally, I need to evaluate whether the learning that being produced and delivered on TikTok platform can benefit the freelancers or not. Yes. So do you think we can change the landscape of teaching and learning in Malaysia using TikTok platform? Okay. Please use this hashtag. Hashtag freelancing with Auntie Cash. Don't forget to love, like, comments and share with others. Okay. So, happy TikToking. Thank you and bye.
Thank you, Fauzia. That is a very interesting talk. As far as I understand, the aim of this research is to develop and design a framework for TikTok-based learning using a design and development research method. Personally, I think this research will promote a more friendly and unique teaching and learning environment in the society. Next, let's welcome Heza binti Harun from the School of Language, Literacy and Translation to present her research entitled The Fabulous Tree in the System of Support which are related to mobile technology, WhatsApp, peer interactions and teachers' roles. Everyone, please welcome Heza.
The most difficult and complicated part of the writing process is the beginning. With that said, allow me to present a situation. You are a student in an L2 classroom. Your teacher asks you to write an essay. No matter which level of student you are, this question is compulsory. How do I start? Now, imagine being a low proficiency student that have the inability to express ideas in English and insecure with the language due to low self-esteem in the classroom. How can this student learn writing and have fun doing it? Language is a skill and needs to be done every day, and thus it is difficult, especially to this student. Hence, in my PhD thesis, I'm going to be looking at this method. How can this be done and aid the low proficiency students? Then I realized that the solution is just in front of me all the time, our mobile phones. But it can't be that easy, right? So allow me to elaborate. In the new normal of education, more proactive initiatives are required to be implemented for mobile technology in general to improve the students' ability to use the devices to their advantage. In my PhD thesis, the students were able to share ideas and discuss in the WhatsApp platform, and the WhatsApp platform provides a safe haven for these students to be themselves and to be free, allowing them to make errors without facing their face to face, and in the end acquiring the fundamental notion of writing, which is not being afraid to learn and not believing that writing is difficult. Hence, the term system of support derived from this study focuses on three factors, which are mobile technology via WhatsApp, the support of peer interaction in the WhatsApp platform, and the added support from the teacher's role that monitor and facilitates the WhatsApp discussion to examine whether these students at the university level able to increase their ability to write. To my surprise, after 8 weeks, these three factors impacted the ability in the ESL argumentative writing, resulted in A's. These factors are the basics on how the students were able to increase the motivation in writing, self-efficacy, and have positive attitude on learning. Bear in mind, these are all low proficiency students with the average of D when they started. Last month, my research was presented to language scholars in University of Oxford. The result from my PhD in introducing the term system of support are changing the way scholars look at the factors that aided the success of low proficiency students in their argumentative writing. So, where to from here? System of support may serve as a basis for many elements rather than just writing, as it is an adaptable foundation to every aspect of learning. With considerable anticipation, I hope that my findings and the pedagogical implications of my PhD study will result in promising future developments in teaching and learning writing. Writing is difficult and thinking is hard work, but always remember what Nelson Mandela once said. It always seems impossible until it's done. Thank you.
Thank you, Hazel, for your talk. It's quite good to know, though, that this so-called system of support will be able to increase university student augmentative writing and hence highlight the significance of this system for motivation, self-efficacy, and successful learning. Okay, we will now invite our next presenter, Huang Miao, from the School of Communication to share his research about gamification as a driver for pro-environmental behavior, a case of ant forest in China. Everyone, please welcome Huang Miao.
Hello everyone. First of all, I would like to raise a question. Have you ever encountered a situation where you clearly knew the behavior was correct, but still not implemented? You may find many reasons for this, such as running out of time, having more important things to do, and not knowing how to do it. But the real reason may be that you lack sufficient behavioral driver. We often encounter this dilemma when implementing pro-environmental behaviors. Everyone knows that pro-environmental behaviors are sensible and right, but we often ignore them. In response to this dilemma, gamification was pointed out a feasible path for us. Game is an effective behavioral driver for human individuals and social evolution. The various of rewards in game change our behavior with operating conditioning. Gamification is the use of game elements in a non-game context. Ant Forest, a Chinese mobile app, makes a good use of gamification elements in promote pro-environmental behaviors among the public. First of all, Ant Forest has established a set of online and offline linked gamification reward system. Ant Forest records users' daily pro-environmental behaviors through mobile phones, such as working, using public transportation, using shared bicycles, online payment, and green takeout. These behaviors are converted into green points, which can eventually be converted into real trees and planted in the desert. Friends in the app can exchange points with each other, cooperate in planting trees, and sharing environmental information to achieve the effect of wide dissemination. In this way, Ant Forest has attracted 550 million users and planted 223 million real trees in China. On the one hand, the mobile phones everywhere reminds users all the time, and on the other hand, users can really get actual results in the near future. These functions make this reward system very persuasive. The persuasiveness of gamification rewards affects users' environmental awareness, and the daily behavior points remind them the importance of starting from the details. At the same time, the persuasiveness also affects users' environmental motivation, making them continue to use the Ant Forest app in order to plant real trees. With such mechanism, people aggregate their daily actions into real and effective pro-environmental behaviors through mobile apps.
Thank you, Huang Miao. Yes, I can't agree more that some mobile apps may be able to promote the pro-environment behavior among the users, and this, I believe, will also promote environmental awareness and motivation not only among the users, but also to their family and friends. So next, let's welcome our next contender from the School of Social Science, Linda Binti Daud, to present her research about the current concern among Malaysians nowadays, which is on the cost of living and household expenditure in Malaysia, an analysis of crowding out effect.
In Malaysia, the cost of living issue is a sensitive issue that touches every segment in our society. Either you realize or not, 1 ringgit today cannot buy the same amount of curry puff, just like 1 ringgit 10 years ago. That is the classical way to trace the cost of living has been increased. Yes, the reduction of purchasing power. In a situation when households are trying to maintain current spending, there is a concern that increases in the price of basic needs will affect spending on other things. Here, the issue arises of whether the growing cost of food, housing, and transportation has negative impact on other kind of expenditure categories, such as health and education, which impact human capital development and well-being. To understand this situation, I'm using crowding out effect concept in order to explain what happens to household consumption when the cost of living goes up. The term crowding out effect in spending refers to situations where a rise in one kind of expenditure has negative impact on other categories of expenditure. For example, if the cost of housing goes up, people will have to spend less on food. Looking at how serious this issue will prolong has motivated me to investigate and analyze how rising costs of food, housing and transportation significantly influence Malaysian household expenditure. My methodological strategy to examine crowding out effect will be carried out using household expenditure survey data that was gathered by Department of Statistics. Using regression analysis of Angel Curve model, the relationship between cost of living and household expenditure may well be identified. The result of this study are hopefully become as a source of framework and references for further research of cost of living impact on household expenditure based on income level, age, urban compared to rural areas, state comparison, and other segments in the society. In addition, the result can be expanded to other areas related to household consumption research. It is my aim that this study will contribute to government, policymakers, researchers, and society to figure out how to deal with cost of living consequences on household spending so that our economy can continue to achieve sustainable growth.
Thank you, Linda. Personally, I think this is a grave issue nowadays as the rising cost of basic needs may not only affect other expenditures and it may also affect our life. Hence, it will be good to know the correlations between the high cost of food, housing, and transportations with household expenditure. Moving on to our next presenter, Nur Husna binti Shahrudin from Center for Instructional Technology and Multimedia to present her work about mobile learning experience towards acceptance and usage of POD at KPDN HEP among enforcer officer. Everyone, please welcome Husna.
Imagine being working but you are lacking of the required knowledge and skill. How you want to be confirmed in that job position? How to be confirmed or offered a promotion if you fail the exam repeatedly? Why and how? So that my research PhD first step through preliminary study, which is population at Ministry Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, MDTCA, and the literature review, I found that first, because there is not enough training, the training offered is only by zone, not south, east and west. Second, heavy workload and it is difficult to them to attend the training face-to-face outside the office. Third, there is no information sharing medium to make them refer, but just through book and or hard materials only, so that there needs professional learning for confirmation of position or promotion purposes. Second, comprehensive offer through M-Learning is open to all enforcement officers. Third, that training can be attended at any time and any location, but it depends on employees' experience of using M-Learning before, on their behavioral attention to accept and use this application that we call the Pocket Online Training Application. Hence, after my PhD research is aimed to design and develop M-Learning to enforcement officers, improve their knowledge and skill. Second, to determine relationship between the UTAU2 construct on the behavioral intention of use and acceptance of the M-Learning. Third, to determine the effect of the experience toward M-Learning as a mediator on the acceptance and use of the applications. Conclusion through M-Learning, who will help the enforcement officer in carrying out enforcement activities as well as to be able to continuously improve their knowledge and skill via personal devices, not only for enforcement officer but among civil servants also for continuous performance development activities. Research contribution will hope that first impact on consumer and society with the quality of effective service delivery by enforcement officer. Second, impact on enforcement officer to increase continuous professional training through the M-learning. Third, impact on the enforcement officer division, more transparent, efficient, skilled, knowledgeable and quality enforcement activities by undergoing training through M-learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Husna. As far as I understood, your research aimed to develop and design M-learning specifically for the enforcers to know their job scope. I think this will be good for all officers as they will understand more and also enjoy doing their work without any heavy workload that will definitely affect their mental health. We now welcome Nur Azita Marina binti Abdul Aziz from Center for Islamic Development Management Studies to present her research entitled The Islamic Philosophical Stances in Constructing Islamic Accounting Concept. Everyone, please welcome Nur Azita.
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. People asking me why Islamic accounting? One day, I came across to Surah Baqarah verse 282. It stated, when you contract a loan for a fixed period of time, commit it to writing. Let strive, maintain justice between the parties. I was like thinking, how this relate to Islamic accounting? It is actually giving an account and doing good deeds for the life of the hereafter. It is accountability. Hablum minallah, hablum minan nas. Relationship to Allah and relationship to the people. Islamic accounting is comprehensive and complementing of social reality on Islamic perspective. It underpins the epistemological position of a theory of divine unity, which is actually evolved from the revelation and intellectual knowledge of the unity of one God. Indirectly, what happened to the critics to the conventional accounting? Externalities is not included in financial reports, which is supposed to be disclosed. For example, what happened to the deforestation? What happened to the flood? What happened to the landslide? Is that being accounted for? Intangible asset cannot be measured adequately. For example, branding and pattern. Human resource employees reporting interest is not being included, while it is only a voluntary disclosure. Social interest, indirectly, it is being overlooked. In Islamic accounting, the social welfare is being part of the fundamental in the framework. The Islamic framework is guided through divine revolution. It involves the social, it involves the economy and also the politics. Indirectly, for the Islamic philosophical stances is actually based on religious base, on a business ethics, which actually requires people to be fairness, honest and accountable to others. And from here, how do I study grounded theory? It is actually from undertaken a methods of interviews and also document reviews through iterative process analysis. What is my contribution indirectly? What did I do? My contribution is based on methodological contribution on a grounded theory. Theoretical stances is from the Islamic philosophical stances based on tasawwur, ontology, epistemology, and axiological Islam. Conceptual framework is actually being developed for the Islamic accounting concept, which I think it is very important for the Islamic conceptual framework to be framed in this direction. With that, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nur Azita. It is good to know that your finding will assist all the policymakers in interpreting Islamic accounting standards in Malaysia, and this can be done by employing an Islamic accounting concept. And alright, let's move on to our next presenter, Nur Adila binti Ahmad Razi from Center for Instructional Technology and Multimedia to deliver her talk about learning science through mobile application inquiry-based augmented reality technology module. Without further delay, let's welcome Nur Adila.
Teacher, why can't we see how this peacock spread its feathers? It was dull to learn on paper. Reminiscing several years back, when I started working as a preschool teacher. One energetic child inquired about this in our science class. At this development stage, children are curious and often ask questions to explore their surroundings. Misconceptions and confusions in learning science concepts are some challenges young children encounter at kindergarten. Despite the extensive use of augmented reality in education, there is a lack of research on augmented reality among children. Pure discovery methods with minimal feedback are very common in augmented reality interventions. Arguably, this minimal guidance during instruction is insufficient for children. There has been little attention given to the design of inquiry-based learning as the instructional strategies for AR interventions. My PhD highlights the development of an inquiry-based learning module with augmented reality technology to learn science for children. The module comprises interactive three-dimensional virtual objects, videos, background music, and sound effects to attract young children. The empirical evidence exploring the designs and development of this module will shed light on producing effective science, teaching and learning in early childhood education. This module benefits teachers as facilitators and enrich children's learning experience while increasing their science performance. Early intervention is important. This golden opportunity of coherent vision for preschool instructions in augmented reality technology should be emphasized for children's readiness before entering primary school. Thank you.
Thanks, Noadila, for your presentation. Indeed, as she has highlighted in her presentation, it will be great interest for everyone, especially parents, if there is an effective science module for children. What I mean by effective should comprise an interactive 3D virtual objects, videos, background music, and also sound effect that will attract the children's attentions. Okay, now let's welcome our second last presenter from the School of Housing, Building and Planning, Nur Shazadiana binti Suraini, to share her research on intentional redesign of Malaysian public school through stakeholder engagement. Everyone, please welcome Nur Shazadiana.
Imagine you're a new teacher assigned to a dull and uninspiring public school. You saw wood droppings on the floor, chipping wood panes and wobbly chairs, to name a few. As days go by, this condition is seriously affecting your and your students' experience in school. Having felt all this, you, as the teacher, continue teaching anyway as long as no one is harmed, or complain to the school admin and wait for the annual financial review? Or would you take matters into your own hands and start doing something? You might have guessed it. Due to the tedious process in public schools, teachers will usually take matters into their own hands. But hold up. As a teacher, you're also faced with these issues. You want to redecorate, but you don't have enough resources all the time. You want to repair, but you don't have enough time to learn how to do it. You want to replan, but you just have no more ideas on what else to be done. This is what my PhD work would like to address. For teachers and students sometimes to redesign their schools, they need immense support from others inside and outside of school. I myself once taught in high-need schools, leading redesigning projects with teachers and students. While I was at it, I realized that there are actually many people out there who would like to contribute to conducive learning environments, if only they know how to do it. That's where I see the need to connect these two key players. On one hand is a group of passionate educators, and on the other, a group of empathetic members of the society. When teachers take matters into their own hands and they involve various other people, they can now redecorate with funds and sponsorship. They can now repair with shared expertise of those in the industry. They can even replan by working with their own students for 21st century learning experience. Through my research, where I look at various projects in schools, I am convinced that indeed every single school has its own needs and potential, and that there is no cookie-cutter design what an ideal school should look like. The best designer to hear from? The users themselves. At the same time, introducing school design ideas when the budgets are tight may not be easy, as it typically involves a lot of money. With my PhD, I hope to focus on firstly involving and inspiring everyone to sit and work together in creating small changes every day. Education is rapidly evolving and there won't be a perfect learning space. My research is a call for us to take the first step to start find like-minded people with similar passion for political and environment and keep going further there.
Thank you, Nur Shahzadiana, for a very interesting talk. To my understanding, her research emphasized the need to gather all the passionate and like-minded people who believe in the impact of physical environment to teaching and learning experience within and also outside the school community. I believe this approach will help to make the effort in redesigning of public schools in Malaysia more feasible. Okay, now we have reached our last presenter, Sheikh Ali Nasir Mahmud Rashid from the School of Social Science. He will share a quite interesting topic about investigating the relationship between the central government and the local government in crisis condition, the case of Palestine. Everyone, let's hear from him.
Hi everybody, I would like to present my research about investigating the relationship between central governments and local governments in crisis conditions, the case of Palestine. In the last few decades, there has been a growing interest in the role of local governments in state building efforts in conflict and post-conflict societies. The unique position of local governments who are closer to the reality of people and their needs as well draws the attention to the importance of enhancing the quality of local governments. The long Palestinian-Israeli conflict in the Middle East and the absence of a stable and strong Palestinian central government places pressure on Palestinian local governments to respond to the citizens' needs for basic services and community welfare. The key issues of this research are the ambiguity in mandates and roles and responsibilities, as well as the lack of clear vision about the status and development of local government have led to increased conflict between local and central level and impacted the quality and the frequency of services to the citizens. The key question of this research: how does crisis conditions reflect on the relationship between local governments and central governments, and how does this impact on the developmental role of local governments in Palestine? The objective of this research is to investigate the relationship between central and local government in a unique crisis conditions like Palestine. Moreover, it explores the impact of this situation on the developmental role of local government. This is essential to offset the impact of the protracted conflict and occupation in Palestine and provide local governments with the required skills, capacity, and tools to serve their communities. This research will use mixed methodology combining qualitative and quantitative tools. The selected sample will cover all categories of local government units, various capacities, and structure. This research will focus on the particularity of the crisis conditions and its impact on decentralization and ability of local government to perform their functions mainly the developmental role. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Shah Ali Nasir. It's interesting to know the correlations between the centrals and also local government in handling crisis conditions, as this is essential to offset the impact of the protracted conflict and occupations in Palestine. So we have now finished the second category of social science. Before we move on to the last category, we will start our second sessions of Lucky Draw. And for this round, we will choose 3 winners from Institute Postgraduate Studies or IPS YouTube Live. I repeat, from IPS YouTube Live.
Okay, Anna. All right. Are you ready, guys? The keyword for this session is USM the best. I repeat, USM the best. So for those who like to test their luck, you can key in this keyword now in the IPS YouTube chat box. We will announce the result in 1 to 2 minutes.
So while waiting for the result, it's good to share with everyone here, especially all PhD students or any prospective PhD student who are interested to gain some experience and brownie points for your CV. You can enter this 3-minute thesis competition program next year. So what you need to do is that, first, participate at the school level. All the details for participations will be circulated online through email, social media, and USM website.
Yes.
And those that won at the school level will then participate in the USM levels. The top 3 contenders from USM level will represent USM at the national level, where you will compete with all the representatives from other units in Malaysia. The winner for the international level will then represent Malaysia at the international level in Australia. Yes.
Okay, wow, we have a lot of people typing the keyword. And I also can see some familiar names. But again, only those that are lucky enough will be the winner.
Okay, so while waiting for the names...
Oh,
we have the names now.
Yes.
Oh, we have 3 names.
You can announce.
Okay. The first name will be Khairul Anwar Muhammad Noor. I repeat, Khairul Anwar Muhammad Noor. And the second one is Haryati Ibrahim. Haryati Ibrahim. And the last one will be Tengku Asri. I repeat, Tengku Asri. Okay.
Oh, congratulations.
To all the winners. Okay. So you can refer to the screen on how to redeem your prizes. Now, I will pass to my colleague Azza for our next category, which is the science and technology category. Azza, now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna, for the great session. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you again to the USM 2022 3-minute thesis competition. Ladies and gentlemen, in this category of science and technology, there will be 14 contenders which will be presenting the research in this field. These presentations will be divided into 2 rounds, where contestant 1 to 7 will be in the first round, followed by contestant 8 to 14 in the second round.
So in the middle, there will be the last sessions of our
lucky draw.
Okay?
Don't go anywhere. Just stay tuned with us. Alright, now everyone, let's get the ball rolling by inviting our first speaker, Abdul Fattah Nongman from the School of Dental Sciences, with his presentation entitled Investigating the Mechanism of Reduction in Polymerization Shrinkage of Acrylate Dental Material. Let's hear from him.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm sure all of us have experience with toothache before, right? When we have this pain due to teeth problem, one of the solution is by dental filling treatment. However, the pain sometimes will come back after the treatment. Have you ever think why this problem happened? One of the reasons that might contribute to this problem is polymerization shrinkage effect. This phenomenon usually occurs when the tooth filling material is made from acrylate-based product. How this happen? During tooth filling process, restorative material will be cured by using light radiation. This curing process, also known as polymerization process. During the polymerization process, the chemical structure of restorative material will become shorter. The change in length of the chemical structure may lead to the polymerization shrinkage. Due to this matter, my study is to synthesize a new tooth filling material using acrylate-based product. Basically, acrylate-based tooth filling material has chemical structure in linear form. You can imagine the structure is like a coconut tree, which has no branch at all. In my study, I will develop an acrylate-based tooth filling material with branches. You can imagine from the linear coconut tree to the branches like Christmas tree. This branching system of new tooth filling material will reduce the gap, hence counter the polymerization shrinkage problem during curing process. Thank you for your attention, and that brings us to the end of my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul Fattah, for the interesting presentation. Well, the study is basically to synthesize a new acrylate material for dental filling restoration. The aim is to reduce the problem of polymerization shrinkage that usually happen in acrylate-based dental filling material. The research is conducted by modified acrylate-based material from linear structure to a branching chemical structure. I personally look forward to the findings from your research, Abdul Fattah. Now, without further ado, let me introduce you to our second speaker, Ahmed Nasir, also from the School of Dental Sciences, with his presentation entitled The Analysis of Orofacial Aesthetic Proportions with Natural Maxillary Anterior Teeth and Perception of Smile Attractiveness in Pakistani Citizens, a 2D photographic and 3D digital dental model study. Sounds interesting. Let's hear from him.
Hello everyone, I am Nasir Ahmad, the participants of 3 Minute Thesis presentation. The topic of my thesis is the analysis of dentofacial aesthetics with maxillary anterior teeth and perception of smile attractiveness in Pakistani citizens. It was a 2D photographic and 3D digital dental model study. As we all know that smile is a regional phenomena, the variation exists between the width of maxillary anterior teeth. In Asians, the width of lateral incisor appears smaller, while in Americans it appears wider. While if you can see the Africans, there is a space between the teeth. Hence, it is recommended that research should be focused on different populations living according to the geography. Pakistan, in this instance, is a diverse mixture of races and ethnicities, hence they have difference in the maxillofacial relationship. We carried out this research in order to determine whether the dental proportions which have been proposed for other populations, like for North American population, can exist in local population. For this research, we collected data in the form of dental photographs and 3D dental cast analysis. We came to the outcome that the width of lateral, central and canine teeth, if you see from the front, appears different from that of the North American populations. We recommended a ratio of 77% for lateral incisors and central incisors, while 107% for canine and lateral incisor teeth. Beside this, we also recommended modification matrix and validation matrix in order to predict the width of maxillary anterior teeth from facial proportion. This study will help in order to create beautiful dental smiles. This data can be used to manufacture grids, to manufacture gauges, and digital smile designs, which will produce beautiful smiles. Means the clinician can use this data to create tools, and that tools will in return produce a beautiful smile when the patient is looking for dental restoration. There are obvious limitations in the studies which we have overcome by the strength of the study, like we used unbiased techniques in this study which can overcome the limitations of our research. We are grateful to the 3-minute thesis participants as well as to the University Sains Malaysia for providing me this opportunity.
Perception of an attractive smile and the factors affecting it in the Pakistani population. All the best, Ahmed Nasir. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from our third speaker, Aina Akmal Muhammad Noor, a PhD candidate from the School of Medical Sciences, with a presentation establishing new ideas on immune cells in psoriasis research using the mouse model. Let's hear from her.
Have you ever seen someone's skin with red to pink silvery lesions? That is an autoimmune skin disease called psoriasis. Not to be confused with eczema, psoriasis is mostly due to genetic or even environmental factors, which is driven by impaired immune responses with its own unique characteristics. To date, it is a lifelong condition in which someone may experience many repeated episodes of psoriasis. Psoriasis is more than a skin dip. Some say it is within the blood, which is actually true. Indeed, scientifically, psoriasis has always been associated with highly activated white blood cells called T cells that leads to thickened skin with intense red inflammation. One of the treatments called biologics, which can specifically target psoriasis biomarkers secreted by T cells, are so far the best option, yet not everyone is suitable for it. Hence, the real question is it T cells are solely the main culprit in exacerbating psoriasis? And I mentioned the word autoimmune, which is defined as the body's immune system mistakenly attack the healthy cells, tissues, and other normal body constituents. Autoimmunity could also be due to autoantibodies, which are proteins produced by other white blood cells called B cells. B cells can interact and secrete autoantibodies with the help of other immune cells such as dendritic cells, which are responsible to convey immune responses to them. Can B cells and dendritic cells be the other real culprits for psoriasis? Why is this question important? By understanding where and how B cells and dendritic cells play their role in psoriasis development, the complete puzzle pieces of immune cells in the psoriatic universe may be concluded. Now, my PhD project targets this issue, hence trying to contribute new ideas pertaining these immune cells. To get the real-time tissue sampling, it is easier to use mice model, which are initially induced with psoriasis and later assess the targeted cellular population using their organs and blood. Surprisingly, mouse model mimics more than 90% to that chronic plague psoriasis in human. Eventually, the results of my study may contribute to B cells and dendritic cells understanding apart from T cells in psoriasis, hence to ultimately establish perhaps new biologic treatment with multiple targets to completely treat psoriasis.
Thank you, Aina. So her research is about establishing new ideas on the relationship between immune cells, dendritic cells, and B cells in psoriasis, research using the mouse model induced with imiquimod topical application in contributing the knowledge other than T cells to the biologics treatment in further reducing the signs and symptoms of psoriasis. Good luck, Aina. Moving on to our fourth presenter, we bring to you Amjad Ahmed Majid Al-Khadimi from the School of Computer Sciences to present his studies in a presentation entitled Advanced Persistent Trait Mobile Sensors Behavior. The floor is yours, Amjad.
Hi, I am Amjad Al-Khadimi, a PhD student at Computer Science. Today I'm going to talk about advanced persistent threats mobile sensors behavior. As you woke up today, how many of you grabbed your smartphone first? I am sure you are carrying and watching it at this very moment. Smartphone has many benefits, so are the vulnerabilities. The nature of a smartphone which are prone to become vulnerable to cybercrime attack. One threat I am keen to share is advanced persistent threats. APT are stealthy, sophisticated, and unpredictable cyber attack that can steal intellectual property, damage critical infrastructure, or cause millions of dollars in damage. The majority of APT in smartphones rely on social engineering attack through sensors such as spear phishing, application repackaging, and watering hole. Our motivation is to solve APT attack because APT is one of the highest problems in the world due to the losses of money and information. Since August 2013, approximately $1 billion has been stolen from over 100 financial institutions. Based on statistics, the number of APT described per year has been risen from 0 in 2007 to about 26 attacks in 2014. The challenges that have been addressed to detect APT on smartphone sensors can be summarized as sensor vulnerabilities, smartphone services, and security framework on smartphone. So the vulnerabilities of smartphone sensors are small capacity, local sensors, and the nature of always on. Although there are many APT solutions designed and implemented, it fails to provide a comprehensive solution. The reason is due to the lack of APT attack profile or fingerprint. And APT is hard to detect, so attacker could employ several tactics and techniques to create an APT attack. Based on aforementioned reasons and challenges, it has been proposed a fingerprint for mobile APT detection framework based on the correlation between MITRE framework, mobile sensors, and attack trees. The proposed framework will support in generating and testing of TTP, so the situation awareness model will be adopted to do the following. Use the perception stage, which is the input to get all the sensors and application data. Once this is done, I will investigate the design of TTP. This is performed on the attack tree. Once the fingerprint is distinguished, the usage of AI will be adopted. So the technique that will be used either game theory or fuzzy logic. Then I will be testing several techniques. Once this is finished, the fingerprint is generated. The testing will be performed in terms of performance and accuracy. Thank you for your listening.
Thanks, Amjad, for a very insightful presentation. It is great to learn that the study has proposed a conceptual framework to conduct the situational awareness model in line with adopting a game theory as an artificial intelligence technique. Besides, to improve the security awareness that supports detecting an APT attack on smartphone sensors, applications, users' behavior, and mitigating all the relevant issues. Very interesting. All the best, Amjad. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's move to our next presenter, Asma Sajid, also from the School of Computer Sciences, to deliver her presentation entitled Using Context and Linguistics Features for Fake News Detection. We welcome Asma Sajid.
1 year back, I received a call from my uncle inviting us on their son's wedding ceremony in a small town. Yes, during pandemic. Upon my reminder about COVID, he told me that COVID-19 is not as deadly as government has portrayed it. It's only the exaggerated number of deaths that government is presenting to us. I asked the source of news, WhatsApp and Facebook, he said. People are getting vaccinated because they came to know that vaccination is called infertility or autism in them. Yes, even in 21st century, misinformation can make them believe in these kind of news. and internet is flooded with this type of misleading content. I'm sure we all have become the victim of fake news and may have been drinking warm waters or eating ginger, garlic to kill the COVID virus. Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission (MCMC's) Internet User Survey has revealed that 82% of users trust in health-related information they find online, regardless of the source. Now, what would happen if that information they found was fake? So there must be some method to detect or check if the news that you are reading is actually fact or fake. This is what our research is targeting. We want to tag online news as fake or fact. To do that, our analysis of fake news has shown that unreal news have certain properties. We will detect fake news by identifying them and then analyzing their properties. We propose to use two types of properties named as context and linguistic features together to get better results. Every news has context-based information. For example, when it happened, what are the details, what is the source of it, how much credible the source is. We call these context features. Then we look for linguistic features like use of intensifying words, for example, highly, extremely, and assertive words, somebody, anybody, frequency of those words, and use of semantic lexicons. A fake news will have these values higher. So by feeding this information into our intelligent algorithms of CNN, decision tree, and SVM as input, we will achieve better accuracy in segregation of fake news and factual news.
Thanks, Asma, for the interesting presentation. To tag the online news as fake or fact, her analysis of fake news has shown that unreal news has certain properties. Detect the fake news by identifying and then analyzing their properties. She proposed to use two types of properties named as context and linguistics features together. So good luck, Asma. Well, everyone, let's keep the ball rolling. Let us now hear from our next presenter, Muhammad Anwar Ahad, a PhD candidate from the Center for Drug Research, which will be presenting a presentation entitled Dementia, Looking for an Alternative Remedy. We welcome you, Muhammad Anwar.
Could you imagine if you have learning and memory disabilities at your age, how your life would be? I give you one example. When you go to supermarket to buy some groceries, once you reach there, you totally lost what you're supposed to do. Yet it is worse as you started develop early symptom of dementia. Is there currently available treatment for this disease? The answer is no single drug that can be used to treat dementia. WHO has estimated around 131.5 million people will be living with dementia in this world by 2050. Let's think about it. Do we need to take an action plan to find alternative treatment for this disease? If you ask me, of course yes, as my thesis is about restoring the learning and memory deficits by using bioactive fraction produced from the roots of butterfly pea or bunga telang in bahasa, or scientifically known as Clitoria alternati. So how I did the experiment? First, I systematically produced the bioactive fraction using column chromatography technique, and after that I established animal model of vascular dementia by blocking both common carotid arteries, which can decrease level of oxygen and nutrient supplies to the brain. And what happened after that? The rat started develop memory impairment over the time due to degradations of the neurons in the brain. Surprisingly, just a single treatment of the bioactive fraction significantly restored the memory, as I observed from their behavioral performances as well as the brain connection activities specifically in the hippocampus. And I'm wondered what is exactly happened behind this scenario. I harvested the organ, which is the brain, and isolated the hippocampus area as this area important for learning and memory processes. What I found was the biomarkers and the proteins that are important for learning and memory significantly increase their expression in the brain. So from the point of view here, by using natural products such as bioactive fraction from the roots of butterfly pea actually can be used to treat vascular dementia. Even though this is just a preclinical studies, but I believe that this small action can bring a huge difference in future. With that, I am Muhammad Anwar. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Anwar Ahad, for the interesting presentation on the experimental studies of the Clitoria tenacia. Root extract on learning and memory have been well studied. Therefore, the current study focuses on the effects of bioactive fraction from Clitoria tenacia root to reverse cognitive decline and restore memory, which provides significant value as a therapeutic strategy targeting vascular dementia. Good luck. We now welcome the 7th contestant, Nur Hayati Ismail, from the School of Medical Sciences in Science and Technology category to present her presentation entitled Epigenetics, the Science of Cell Reprogramming. Nur Hayati, the floor is yours.
Do you know that each person has around 60 trillion bits of DNA inside them? Actually, this length is actually enough to travel to the sun and back to the earth for 61 times. And actually, this long DNA sequence is nicely folding and coiling around a protein molecule called histone to make it structurally compact to fit within the chromosome in the nucleus. So what if the changes occurs in this DNA structure? These structure changes are called epigenetic modification, which occur throughout of our life. But the bad side is it transforms the normal cells to behave differently as a cancer cell. And the most common epigenetic mechanism are DNA methylation and histone deacetylation. In DNA methylation, the methyl group is bound to the promoter of the gene and block the gene transcription to be occurred. While in histone deacetylation, the DNA sequence is extensively folded and coiled around the histone molecule, thus preventing the transcription machinery from working. In a simple manner, the gene is still there and the sequence is still intact, just only it was turned off or become silent. The problem is the hyper level of DNA methylation and histone deacetylation are seen in the most of the tumor suppressor genes in blood cancer. My PhD works on multiple myeloma, a blood cancer diagnosed among the elderly population. And it is an incurable cancer where almost all the patients will suffer from relapse and not responding to the treatment at all. In my study, I used epigenetic drugs, trichostatin A and 5-azacitidine to remove the methyl group from the gene promoter, and at the same time to make the DNA coiling around the histone molecule become more relaxed and linear to allow the gene expression of the tumor suppressor genes to occur. Turning on the tumor suppressor gene activity will arrest the progression of myeloma cell and eventually leads to the cancer cell apoptosis. Following the treatment, mass gene expression screening will be performed to know which one of the culprit genes are really responsible for the myeloma cancer progression. This biomarker can be used to detect the disease in patient sample at early stage. The combination treatment of TSA and 5-AZA is a promising insight to make cancer cells more sensitive to therapies and more likely to prevent the cancer cell from coming back. Thank you.
Thank you, Hayati, for the insightful presentation. So, her research is something about the cells in the body use the epigenetics mechanism to control gene activity by turning on and off certain genes. When cells undergo different developmental stages, epigenetics helps shut down some portions which no longer needed. Errors in the epigenetic process are prominently associated with the progression of multiple myeloma. Wow, sounds interesting.
Yeah.
So all the best to you, Nur Hayati.
Okay, well everyone, we had listened to all first 7 speakers in the first round of Science and Technology category. Let us now take a short break by having our last sessions of Lucky Draw. And good news to everyone, there will be 4 winners for this session. We will choose 2 winners from USM Admission Facebook and another 2 winners from IPS YouTube Live.
Are you ready for the last keyword? Okay, the final 4 keyword is let's fly high. Key in this keyword now and stand a chance to win the vouchers. Let's fly high.
Okay, to all the winners, while waiting, let me remind you again about the prize redemption process. Please take note that the deadline to claim your prize from the organizer is on the 26th August 2022. Unredeemable prizes will be forfeited and the decision is final. Prizes are to be redeemed in Malaysia only. And we're still waiting for the name.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to remind everyone again about the People Choice Award. So, the voting process already open, and if you want to choose your favorite presenter, you can all refer to the 3MT website for the list of all participants. Vote can be made via the given link either in USM Admission Facebook or Institute Postgraduate Studies YouTube comment box. Participant with the highest vote will be considered as the winner. So do we have the names now?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Still waiting. Oh, we have
already
the names.
have from YouTube. Okay, the first winner is Nasrul Haq Tagiling. And the second one is Azra Azrin. I repeat. The first winner is Nasrul Haq Tagiling. And the second winner is Azra Azrin. Both of them is from YouTube channel.
From the IPS YouTube channels. Now we're still waiting for the names from the USM Admission Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, we have the names now. Okay. So maybe I will start calling the names. So the first one will be Ain Fatihah. I repeat, Ain Fatihah.
Yes.
And the next
second
one will be
Farhah Muhammad. Farhah Muhammad and Ain Fatihah.
Yes.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
And don't forget to redeem your prizes. Refer to the screen for the redemption process.
Okay, again, congratulations to all the winners. And I will pass back to Azah for our next sessions, for our next part of Science and Technology category.
All
the floor
right.
is now yours, Azah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us continue with the second round for the Science and Technology category. This is the final round, right?
Final round,
Yeah.
another 6.
Yeah. This session consists of another 7, Anna.
Oh, sorry, 7, my
presentations
bad.
from the selected candidates. Now, without further ado, let us move forward and hear what our next speaker has to say. We welcome Nur Afifah Samael, representing the School of Medical Sciences, with a presentation entitled A T6 SS Silent Killer Nano Machine of Burkholderia pseudomale. Let's hear from her.
Have you ever thought that tiny creatures from a mesmerizing waterfall or a simple soil could be life-threatening to us? Let me tell you a true story. In 2010, a boy was suspected to have drowned in Lubuk Yu, Pahang. About 150-member team of rescuers and volunteers involved in searching for his body. Following this rescue operation, 21 people came down with fever, in which 10 were positive for mellitus by blood culture, and unfortunately, 7 of them were died due to severe mellitus. So what is mellitus? I'm quite sure many of us are not really familiar with the term mellitus. Mellitus is a disease caused by a soil bacteria known as Burkholderia pseudomale. It manifests a wide range of illness, from asymptomatic infection to severe pneumonia, septic shock, and even death. Pseudomale is found in contaminated soil and water and can spread to humans through direct contact with the contaminated sources, especially through open wounds on the skin. In Malaysia, it is estimated that more than 2,000 patients die due to mellitus per year. which is much higher than the death caused by tuberculosis or dengue fever. However, very little is currently known about the pathogenesis of B. pseudomyele. Critically, it remains ambiguous why certain individuals in endemic areas experience asymptomatic malaise, while others experience more severe clinical presentation. What caused the difference in clinical presentation? Does clinician ever think that the severity of the disease has correlation with type 6 secretion system, a needle-like nanomachine, as one of the virulence factors of B. pseudomyele? Is there any difference in the genetic characteristics? To answer these questions, my PhD research focused on investigating this nanomachine to dig deeper into its molecular parts. It is a nanomachine that plays important roles in pathogenesis of B. pseudomyele infection. This problem has brought me today in developing a species-specific multiplex PCR assay for the detection of this nanomachine gene cluster. It is important for the early screening of potential virulent strains of B. pseudomyele, as well as to investigate the genetic variation. With this achievement, I'm a step away to reveal the genetic variation of this nanomachine and its correlation with the severity of clinical presentation and outcome of the disease. Hopefully, by investigating this nanomachine, more pictures on the bug's virulence factors as well as its weakness can be revealed to tackle the malicious infections towards effective treatment and therapy. Never underestimate a nanomachine.
Thanks, Afifa. Ladies and gentlemen, basically, her research is focused on type 6 secretion system, T6SS, one of the virulence factors of Burkholderia pseudomyele, which is the causative agent of melioidosis. Generally, the objective of this research is to investigate the role of T6SS and its variance in severity of clinical presentation and outcome of Burkholderia pseudomyele infection. So, all the best. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let us now listen to our next speaker from the Advanced Medical and Dental Institute, Nurjihan Muhammad Zuki, with a presentation entitled Modeling the Glucose Control Protocol Among ICU Patients. We welcome Nurjihan. The floor is yours.
Have you ever imagined the situation in the intensive care unit ICU? Did you know ICU patients may experience stress-induced hyperglycemia during their stay in the ICU? Hyperglycemia is a high blood glucose level that may occur even with or without diabetic history prior to ICU admission. This is due to the metabolism and reactions toward the intensive treatment that has been received during their stay in the ICU. Poor management of the hyperglycemia may lead to the severe sepsis, which is the worst infection occurred. Malaysian Registry of the Intensive Care report the death rate in Malaysia was 41.6% due to the severe sepsis, which is a huge number among ICU patients. Controlling the hyperglycemia while avoiding the hypoglycemia is the major challenge. Hypoglycemia is a low blood glucose level that may also lead to the death in ICU. Insulin treatment is used for controlling the high blood glucose level, which is hormone that help the glucose to move from blood into the body cells, hence balancing the blood glucose level in our body. In Malaysia, most ICUs control the blood glucose by applying the sliding scale method, which is a paper-based protocol that implemented the insulin infusion protocol to the ICU patients. However, this protocol is used for both diabetic mellitus DM and non-diabetic mellitus non-DM ICU patients. But different categories may react differently to the insulin treatment. Besides, the main drawback of this protocol is uncontrollable hypoglycemia incidents, which may cause death in ICU. Moreover, the scale changes of this protocol might be different among ICU, which may cause variable outcomes to the same patient if admitted to a different ICU. These are the reasons why our research was conducted. The data obtained from the ICU patients who received insulin treatment were used for creating the virtual patient using the software, and then the computer simulation was run using the current glycemic control protocol. This study used the clinically validated intensive control insulin nutrition glucose IC model to determine hourly insulin sensitivity of the ICU patients, which shows the sensitivity of the body cells in response to the insulin. Then, a new protocol was developed differently for DM and non-DM. Interestingly, this new model-based protocol able to determine the patient insulin sensitivity, which may help the nurses to manage the ICU patients. Besides, the patient with different category, DM and non-DM, will receive appropriate insulin treatment during their stay in the ICU. Now, the number of the hypoglycemia events and the deaths in the ICU may be reduced.
Thank you, Nur Jihan, for the very insightful presentation. Interesting indeed. With the research focused on developing a comprehensive model of blood glucose control for managing critically ill patients in Malaysia by considering the patient's safety. I believe this model-based protocol can determine the patient's insulin sensitivity. We are equally excited and hope for your research to succeed in the near future. Now, let us continue with our next speaker, Nur Hidayah Ibrahim, also from the Advanced Medical and Dental Institute, with the presentation entitled Biosynthesis AGNPS, a promising agent in cancer therapy. We welcome Nur Hidayah.
Cancer is a criminal in our body that grows uncontrollably and spread fast to other body parts. Their ultimate goal is taking people's life, but sometimes we manage to escape. We think we have found a way out and are no longer going to be a victim of this crime. But the truth is that there is a real chance it could come back to bite us, and right now it occasionally does. We are starting to realize that this criminal is not always undertaking nasty work, so we need to find a way to prevent this criminal activity. The current treatment, such as chemotherapy and radiotherapy against cancer, are great, meaning that the cancer is destroyed, it goes away and doesn't come back. But the cancer cell can hibernate to escape all this treatment. It may progress as a sleeping bear during winter, or in scientific term called resistant towards drug. Consequently, we need a special agent to target this type of criminal. Acting on this lead, my research aimed to look at how cancer cells can be tricked into dying by committing suicide, or other word called apoptosis. I would like to know what are the getaway highway of these cells that lead them toward the process of apoptosis. To accomplish this purpose, I have used biosynthesis silver nanoparticle using extract of Alstonia angustiloba plant as agent that triggers cell to die. To do this, I have used the spatial staining method that allow me to distinguish between apoptotic and non-apoptotic cells. My research found that biosynthesized silver nanoparticle induce cytotoxicity activity and increase apoptotic cell by increasing the pro-apoptotic protein such as BAC, caspase-9 and caspase-3, while anti-apoptotic protein like BCL2 is inhibited. Moreover, silver nanoparticle interfered with DNA replication in cancer cell at the G1S cell cycle phase, which hindered the expression of the cell cycle protein. This research will almost probably revolutionize our understanding of cancer as well as how we diagnose and treat it. Do we prosecute cancer cells with the death penalty by death mechanism, or give them a life sentence as resistant cells in our body? My research helped impose punishment on this heinous criminal by bringing them to the death penalty so we can end the crime forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Nur Hidayah, for the interesting presentation. The biosynthesis AGNPS entered cells through cells membranes. It could directly induce apoptosis. The AGNPS interfered with DNA replication in cancer cells at the G1 or S phase. Good luck, Nur Hidayah. We pray for the success of your research. Let us now welcome our next speaker from the School of Dental Sciences, Riaz Samia, to present her presentation entitled Can a Single Tooth Be a Source of Human Identification? digital forensic dentistry. The floor is yours.
Let us take a moment to go back in history. 2004 tsunami, Indonesia. 2005 earthquake, Pakistan. 2010 earthquake, Haiti. 2011, Japan. An earthquake shook the islands, followed by a tsunami that took away thousands of lives, never to be found again. History is full of such incidences where the lack of the data for the human investigations resulted in poor identifications. Disasters, whether accidental, criminal or natural, may end up with human remains that are badly decomposed, such that the face recognition or the fingerprints become impossible. The identification then depends on forensic dentistry. Our study approaches the two aspects of the forensic dentistry. First is the comparative identification, where the ante and the postmortem dental records are compared to detect any unique dental feature that may lead to true or positive identifications, like the restorations, missing teeth, any prosthesis, but luck is not the same every time. In the current scenario of the improved oral hygiene, most of the cases are inconclusive since all the teeth are sound and healthy. Thus, the forensic dentist has to find some other unique biological evidence. So, why not look for it on the occlusal or the chewing surfaces of the healthy teeth? No two fingerprints are identical. Similarly, we hypothesize that no two groove patterns are identical. By proving this uniqueness in our study, we'll open a new pathway for the confirmed identification if the ante-mortem record is available for even a single sound tooth. But again, luck is not the same every time. The ante-mortem records may be absent. Our study then focuses on the reconstructive identification that narrows down the search to the age, sex, and the race estimation by observing the dental features on the plaster dental cast, radiographs, and the photographs. Unfortunately, these dental records in Malaysia are of poor quality. Therefore, our second aim is to see if by converting these dental records into 2D digital data can improve the quality of the reconstructive identification techniques in Malaysia. In this new era of the 3D technology, the forensic dentistry is likely to include the 3D techniques in the future as well. By taking the impression from the deceased, the forensic dentist can create a 3D postmortem dental cast that records even the mini complex details of the tooth surfaces that may lead to a positive or true identification. No previous study has been conducted in Malaysia based on these techniques. Therefore, we aim to determine how a single tooth can lead to a positive identification, or how can it help with a sex estimation or even the in Malaysia, so that we are confident that with these new techniques we have a safer and reliable data which in the worst cases may be fruitful in reuniting the families with their missing loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you, Ria Samia. The occlusal morphology of a tooth can be helpful in two aspects of modern digital forensic dentistry. It may be an alternative of two fingerprints based on the uniqueness of any morphological feature like groove pattern, or can narrow down the search to sex, age, and ethnicity of the human body. So, all the best, Ria Samia. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us listen to our next speaker, Tengku Muhammad Asri Tengku Mohtar from the School of Health Sciences with his presentation entitled Occupational-Based Program for Elderly. The floor is yours.
Hi, hello, how old are you? Old? Such a sensitive word. Anyhow, everyone will get older. Don't be afraid. It is a normal human nature. Are we ready to get older? Ready? Are you sure about that? In various literature, elderly people are reported to have poor quality of life, and its affect their physical, psychological, and cognitive function. And surprisingly, the most affected part is daily routine activities consist of bathing, eating, shopping, laundry, and driving. Oh, imagine you are at the supermarket, and when you look at your shopping list, you actually realize that you didn't actually know what any of the words means. Isn't that scary? It is a known fact that Malaysia will be aging country by 2030, and it is often associated with increased disability and also disease. However, for occupational therapists, we believe that participating in daily life routine will increase elderly health, well-being, and satisfaction in life roles. The aim of my study is to develop occupational-based intervention to improve quality of life among elderly in community dwelling. Participating in daily routine is evident to maintain elderly's physical, mental health and cognitive, increasing their self-confidence and self-efficacy, and also facilitating their enhancement in quality of life. This is a program development using mixed method study for community dwelling elderly. The primary process is to gather qualitative data that will explore idiographic experience of the elderly in relation to their explanation toward aging, daily routine, and also life satisfaction and also quality of life before the purpose intervention. The secondary process will use quantitative instrument to test the theory of quality of life and propose the new intervention of occupational-based program which positively influence the daily routine activities, life occupation, and enhancement quality of life. In a positive way, as elderly, they have their own autonomy to decide what they want to do in life, what they need to do in their life, and also what they want to wear every day. In my final PhD study, I hope that the study will impact on society by reducing burden of care, encourage social participation, and promote engagement in daily routine activity. The result of this study will facilitate healthy aging and ultimately implement aging in place. Thank you.
Thank you Mama Asri. That means love for me. As far as I understand, your research is to develop a program using a mixed method study for community dwelling elderly. I personally hope this study will give impact on the society by reducing the burden of care, encourage social participation, and promote engagement in daily routine.
Yes. Hence, workforce planning is about making optimized group of workers by making certain considerations. Let me give you a very simple example. We have 10 workers and would like to put them into 2 different groups in such a way that both groups can perform better. This is what workforce planning is all about. This problem might sound very simple. However, when it comes with the great data, it tends to blow up the team assignment process. This is what we call as a curse of data dimensionality. The more data we have, the more data processing power it requires. Thus, it puts limitation in terms of the computational power. Therefore, my research is about exploring sophisticated computing alternative, that is deep neural network and quantum computing, which hopefully can help workforce planning in better manner. Deep neural network is a machine learning model which works similar to our brain. Similarly to the superiority of our brain, deep neural network has the capability of adapting, learning, generalizing, and massively processing the information. However, it comes with the trade-off that it requires a lot of computational power. On the other hand, we have quantum computing, which is very much different from our classical computer. We have exposed to CPU and GPU for many years. Recently, we are having a QPUs, quantum processing unit, for quantum computer. Quantum computers running on top of qubit, which can exist as 0 and 1 at the same time. Comparatively, for classical computers, logical bits can exist as 0 or 1 at one point of time. This two-state representation is what makes the quantum computer much more powerful compared to classical computers. Imagine someone can do 2 things at the same time. Superior, isn't it? The same concept applies over here. Generally, there are 2 classes of quantum computers. First one is a gate-based quantum computer, and another one is an annealing-based quantum computer, which is much different compared to each other. From the application perspective, we need to understand that quantum computers does not exist as a dedicated hardware. We need to use quantum computer over the network as services. So if you have a problem with data, you have to submit it to quantum computer over network, and the results will be returned in similar manner. Talking from my research perspective, I have deep neural network as one entity, another one is a quantum computer as another entity. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to get the neural network, the deep neural network, trained with quantum computer, and this deep neural network will be used to solve the workforce planning problem. With that, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thanks for watching.
There you go. As Devendran had stressed in his presentation, this research focuses on exploring workforce planning with deep neural network and quantum computing. The idea behind this research will eventually promote the optimum workforce planning. So good luck, Tevendran. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let us now listen to our last speaker for today's competition for the 3-minute thesis competition 2022 from USM COE, Center for Drug Research, Yunusa Sulaiman, with this presentation entitled Role of Neuroplasticity and Histones Regulation in Modification of Cognitive Functions of Mitragynine Addictive Rats. We welcome Yunusa Sulaiman. The floor is yours.
Salam and good day, everybody. My name is Sulaiman Yunusa, a PhD student from Center for Drug Research, University of Science, Malaysia. Drug addiction is when somebody cannot stop taking the drug despite the associated harmful effects. Drug addiction and its related cases has accounted for almost 500,000 deaths annually. Drug addiction is known to cause destruction of some important areas of the brain that are responsible for memory formation, such as hippocampus. Mitragynine is a chemical drug that is being removed or isolated from kratom, a plant that is being used widely in Asia, especially in Malaysia and Thailand, for its opium and coca-like effects. Mitragynine was reported to cause addiction and memory loss, but the process in which it causes addiction and memory loss is not known. And that is the gap in which my PhD thesis is trying to fill. We gave treatment to the rat with mitragynine for 14 days. This 14 days treatment is equivalent to 1 year treatment in humans. After the 14 days treatment, we checked the role of neuroplasticity by enhancing the neuronal connections in the hippocampus. Information is being transmitted in the hippocampus just like how electric current is being passed across the connected wires. When a wire is being cut, the signal transmission now stops. In this case, it causes the destruction of some neurons leading to memory loss. For memory formation in the hippocampus, there are some chemicals or neurotransmitters that play an important role, such as GABA, acetylcholine, glutamate, and dopamine. We checked the level of those neurotransmitters and we detected changes, telling us that both the addiction and memory loss caused by mitragynine could be due to alterations in those neurotransmitters. We gave another 14 days treatment. After the 14 days treatment, we remove the brain, we remove the hippocampus. We now check the expressions of some histone proteins that are responsible for both addiction and memory loss. We detected a significant decrease in the acetylation of histone 3 and histone 4, which are responsible for addiction and memory loss, telling us that the addiction and memory loss caused by mitragynine could be due to decreased acetylation in those histone proteins. You guess what? We didn't stop there. We gave another 14 days treatment with mitragynine, but this time around together with another drug, siborelinolyte hydroxamic acid, which increases the acetylation of those histone proteins. We got a superb result, where we saw a prevention in both addiction and memory loss, even in the presence of mitragynine. Therefore, this research has provided a process or mechanism in which mitragynine causes addiction and memory loss, and has also provided a better and unique therapeutic target in managing some neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's disease. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yunusa Sulaiman, for the very insightful presentation. To my understanding, Anna, the study has identified both cellular and molecular pathways of addiction and memory loss caused by mitragynine. We are equally excited and hope for your research to succeed in the near future. All the best, Yunusa. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you to all participants. Don't forget that you, as the audience, may vote for your favorite candidate for the Pupils' Choice Award. Perhaps Anna would like to remind our audience again regarding this award.
Okay, thank you, Azza, and thank you to all contendants. Now we are going to have a short break for 5 minutes. Our judges will deliberate the result and be back with us in a short while. Just a gentle reminder though, please don't forget to vote for your favorite presenter through the link provided in the USM Admission Facebook or IPS YouTube comment box. The contender with the highest vote will be considered as the winner. You may start voting now, as the voting system will be closed after 5 minutes. While voting, let's enjoy the video prepared by the NPRC.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I am Nabella. On behalf of the entire campus community, welcome to Penang Anto University Science Malaysia. USM is also known as University in the Garden, with its beautiful and scenic campus setting. We take pride in creating an environment that would bring about the feel-good factor to the campus community as indicated by the increased happiness index. Established in 1969, USM became a research university in 2006-2007 and has been awarded the APEX status in 2008. USM is also recognized by UNESCO as the preferred university for community engagement. USM views the harmonious integration between the arts and the sciences as an innate strength. This is what we have for you in store this afternoon. Thank you. Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I am Nabella. On behalf of the entire campus community, welcome to Penang Anto University Science Malaysia. USM is also known as University in the Garden, with its beautiful and scenic campus setting. We take pride in creating an environment that would bring about the feel-good factor to the campus community as indicated by the increased happiness index. Established in 1969, USM became a research university in 2006-2007 and has been awarded the APEX status in 2008. USM is also recognized by UNESCO as the preferred university for community engagement. USM views the harmonious integration between the arts and the sciences as an innate strength. This is what we have for you in store this afternoon. Thank you.
it's a high today. I'm Norazat Zati Abdurrahim, the 2021 3MT winner in the category of Social Sciences. I'm an English lecturer here at UM and a PhD student in the area of Literature and New Media Studies in our darling university, USM. 3MT is such an incredible experience for me and I cannot forget that. So here is one useful tip from me. Memorize your text beforehand. When you understand every word you say, your confidence, your body movement, your hand gestures, your facial expression, eye contact will project during the delivery. So cheer up and blow them away with your astounding research and good luck!
Assalamualaikum. Hi, my name is Rushida binti Harun, PhD student in molecular medicine from Institute for Research in Molecular Medicine. Alhamdulillah, I won the first place in the Science and Technology category and also the People's Choice Award in last year's USM Minute Thesis competition. I would like to congratulate all of you for your courage, effort, and enthusiasm for this year's USM Minute Thesis competition. All the best and let's make USM proud.
To all 3MT participants this year, I'm looking forward to your incredible research. Just remember to relax and try not to use too many technical jargons. I wish you the best of luck.
Okay, the voting for PCA is now closed. Before we announce the winner, let's hear from the Chief Judge, Professor Dr. Jamila Ahmad, for her comment and advice to our participants. Let's welcome Prof. Jamila to the stage.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Congratulations on deciding to have a go at 3 minutes thesis competition at USM. This year IPS USM managed to get 32 enrollment, 5 from the engineering cluster, 14 from science and technology, and 13 from social science cluster. 3 winners will be chosen from each group. Every year we discover a great speaker who can communicate their research interestingly, simplifies and make it easy for non-specialists like us to understand their content. To us, your presentation was captivating, engaging, entertaining, and although it's intense for you as a candidate, it crystallizes your years of study into 3 minutes to educate a non-specialist audience like us. Believe me, no matter how hard and nervous you are, it is so worth it. Best of luck and congratulations again. You do not need to be the winner to be congratulated. The way I look at it, once you enroll into the competition, you are already the winner, regardless of the result. Best of luck and all the best.
Thank you, Professor Jamila, for the insightful comments.
Now, I would like to welcome our honourable guest, Professor Datuk Geologist Dr. Narimah Samad, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International, for the closing remarks. Everyone, let's welcome Yang Bahagia Datuk.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning. Our distinguished guests, deans, directors, USM staff, students, and outstanding contestant of USM 3-minute thesis competition 2022, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, on behalf of University Science Malaysia, it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the annual University Science Malaysia 3-minute Thesis Competition 2022 organized by the Institute of Postgraduate Studies, USM. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are all aware, 3-minute Thesis Competition is a research communication competition first developed by the University of Queensland in 2008 and now has gained worldwide acceptance in more than 18 countries, including Malaysia. Today, we have the opportunity to listen to interesting presentations from different research areas and to appreciate each and every research efforts and scientific finding that they have presented to us. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope this program will become the catalyst for USM students to discover more ideas and to promote the scientific research finding to the USM community and the society at large. Before I end this speech, I would like to express my utmost gratitude and appreciation to IPS, PPKT, and PTPM for making this virtual event a success. Finally, to all the 3-minute thesis contestants, best of luck for today's competition. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dato'. Okay, Anna, ladies and gentlemen. Selection process.
So next we have come to the most awaited moment. Okay. So we will repeat again the names of the winner for the People's Choice Award. Okay.
Suspense, right?
Suspense.
Alright, the winner for this award goes to Tengku Muhammad Asri Tengku Mahtar from School of Health Sciences with 1,400 plus, the highest vote.
Congratulations
again
to
Tengku Muhammad Asri
for the prize, yes?
Yes, and thanks again to the audience who had participated in the selection process.
So next, we have come to the most awaited moment. We are going to announce the result for each category.
Wow.
Okay. The first category is engineering.
I'm nervous.
Me too. Okay. The third place goes to Salma Liaquat from the School of Electrical and Electronic Engineering.
Wow.
Next, second place goes to Yezahi Hui. I hope I pronounce your name right. Yezahi Hui from the School of Materials and Mineral Resources Engineering. And lastly, the first place goes to Myor Muhammad Hafiz bin Shahbuddin from the School of Chemical Engineering. Congratulations to all the winners in the engineering domain.
Okay, coming up next, we will announce the winners for the social science category. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, third place goes to Nur Shazadiana Suraini from School of Housing, Building and Planning. Congratulations. Alright, second place goes to Amos Lian Enze from School of Social Sciences. Alright, and the last first pass goes to Heiza Harun from School of Languages, Literacies and Translation. Congratulations.
Congratulations to all the winners for the social science and category. So now we proceed with the science and technology category. Okay, the third place goes to Nur Afifah binti Semail from the School of Medical Sciences.
Congratulations.
Second place goes to Aina Akmal binti Muhammad Noor from the School of Medical Sciences. And lastly, the first place goes to Ria Samia from the School of Dental Sciences. Wow, congratulations to all the winners. Okay, we wish you all the best with your research. And before we end the event, I would like to remind all of the audience, especially USM students, to scan the QR code or click the link provided in the chatbot for your attendance.
So, Anna, we have now come to the end of the ceremony. I'm Azza, and my lovely partner Anna would like to thank you for spending your times with us for this morning. On behalf of the organizer, we would like to express our million thanks to all of you who had given us big support and help to run this program successfully.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Hope to see everyone again next year. Assalamualaikum and stay safe.